we got another round of rain coming, it sounds like. So, anyway. I was sitting here thinking about a bug out, and the tribes and indigenous people, nomadic people, well, hunter-gatherers, let's just say that. They were very nomadic. They didn't just go to one place and stay there. They moved around according to the seasons and where the game was, and what fruits were ready for that season. So it's very difficult this day and time to say this is my bug out location and this is where I'm going, because depending on the time of year, there may not be any game there. Now, if you go to a river or something like that, then yeah, you probably fish. But it just, for instance, in this area, deer is not as plentiful in here this time of year as it is during the fall. Because during the fall, there's a lot of acorns, there's a lot of food that they eat in this area. And right now, there's not any. There's a lot of foliage, but it's everywhere. So they're back in the thickets right now. They're back there where they or feel safe. The squirrels are migratory as well. They're not as bad as what they used to be. There's stories of squirrels migrating. You can see thousands of them just migrating at one time, going to different locations, just following the food source. And of course, the indigenous people, they followed them as well. They followed the game. And wherever it led, then that's where they went. So, just thinking about a bug out location, it's a little bit more complicated than just saying this is my bug out location. Because it may have game there at a certain time of year and it may not at a different time of year. So, something to consider. But there may be other food sources there as well when the game is not plentiful, like wild edibles. I mean, there could be, I don't know, it depends on what your area is. Just food for thought. And tater wagon's rumbling. And it sounds like we're in for another round of rain. That's pretty good. I had about a 2-hour nap from that last little shower that came out. The tarp did good, of course. I mean, what do you expect? It kept the rain off. That's what it's supposed to do. All my stuff stayed dry. So that's good. Pretty good setup. It rained pretty hard there for a little while when I was awake. So, anyway. I finally got my smudge fire going again, and now it's going to rain, put it out again, I guess. But that's alright. I tell you what, I love this. But realistically, if you had to do this full-time, permanently, 7 days a week, 24/7, 365, I mean, that would be a very difficult existence. Because especially if you're alone. If you're alone, then I mean, everything that you do is about food. Where are you getting your next meal from? So, I mean, it's just like I've set out 4 traps this morning, and I just went and checked them for the second time about an hour ago. It's 5 o'clock now, and nothing. And we may not catch anything. So, next thing to do is try fishing, which I'm not too big on fish, but hey, you know, starving to death, I'd eat anything. I might have wished I had that snake bite. what little was on there. I mean, it wasn't much on him. Maybe a couple of bites. That was about it. But I guess you could have boiled him up in a stew or something and had a little bit left, or a little bit more to it. But anyway. I don't know if, as I guess there's some people that do live off the land by themselves. I guess so. Those are rare individuals. Most people like that or need that human contact. So anyway, I guess I need to filter that water I caught earlier, and I'm just gonna run it through a bandana. It's just trash, is what it is. Good water. I caught off the toilet rainwater. Might catch some more. Alright, we'll get back to y'all after a while. One thing is building a bug out bag or a getaway bag or even go camping. Things you choose to take with you on a camping trip. It's a little bit of a sacrifice here and there and luxuries here and there, and it just depends on what you what your preferences are. For instance, I didn't bring my big bush pot with me because it just takes up a lot of room, and I didn't see a purpose in it. Now, if it was more than me, I mean, if I was bringing 2 or 3 people with me, then yeah, I would say that the bush pot was probably a good idea. But I didn't see a purpose in it. Another thing I didn't include in my bag, my bug out bag or bug out kit, is a crook knife and an awl, 4-way file. Because I can pretty much do with a knife what the crook knife can do. The crook knife can do it a lot better. It's a lot easier. But I can carve a spoon with just a knife. I can round corners and smooth corners with just a knife. So I didn't see a need for the crook knife. Is it a great tool? Yes, it is. It's a fantastic tool. But then again, you have to have a little give and take. I mean, that takes up a little bit. That takes up room that you could have put something else in. So another thing is, I think that our kits evolve as our skills evolve. The more skills you have, the less kits you have. And I am in no even close to being an expert on anything. But I find that my fire kit has decreased as my knowledge increased on how to make fire. As the older I get, my sleeping kit has increased because I want to be comfortable. So that, as you see in my kit, that I have a hammock, also have an air mattress, and so I could in the summertime or late spring or early fall, I can sleep in a hammock. But when it gets too cold, then I can sleep on the ground because I have the air mattress and all that. Now, you have to understand that a lot of this stuff is expendable. For instance, the mattress can get a hole in it. Then that's a piece of your kit that's gone away. You could do a bough bed. I mean, you could take some boughs and make a bed, get up off the ground. But so I think that it depends on each individual has to consider and think about what their comfort level is, what their skill level is, and determine what their bag should be. It's good to watch these videos and see what's in other people's bags to get ideas, but it all comes down to you as an individual. It comes down to your skill level and what your comfort level is. If you can't go out and get a good night's sleep, then you're not going to live very long. You're going to start making some very poor decisions, and eventually that's going to lead to your demise. So sleep is very important. And I tell you what, that hammock, man, I have not found anything more comfortable than a hammock in camping. I've used cots, I've used air mattresses, I've used just about anything you can imagine. But that hammock is the most comfortable thing I've ever slept in. Have no back problems whatsoever. If I sleep on the ground, even with an air mattress, I'll wake up stiff. But not in the hammock. But anyway, just food for thoughts, and as the video goes on, and I'll just kind of relay what my thought process is, and that's what this experiment was about, was to think and live bug out, and to just kind of see what my kit could do, and what kind of comfort level I have. Another thing that's expendable is bug dope. And I'm sure that the indigenous people, they migrated according to the insect population. Because, I mean, smudge fires, they work pretty good, but you have to be just about in it for it to work. But, I mean, if you get out on a lake or open ground where there's wind, then it keeps all the insects blowed off of you. So, I'm sure that in the summertime and early spring, they did not live too much in these thickets and swamps because of the bugs. I'm sure they were on open ground because they didn't have DEET. And it's tough sleeping without mosquito spray and even the smudge fire. It does work to an extent, but it doesn't work as good as bug spray does. So it's just things to consider. In your kit, there will be expendables. Those luxury items will go away, and eventually you'll be down to a little bitty kit, little kit, down to a pot, and a few little bit of cordage and stuff like that. So anyway, something to consider. We got low pressure because the smoke is going up and coming right back down. You can see it over there. You can see it just kind of hazing, just falling back into the ground. Yeah, it's starting to sprinkle a little bit. Under these trees, it'd have to rain pretty hard to get under these trees. Well, I guess I need to move under the tarp. So we'll turn the camera back on after a while. Good stuff. Coming down pretty good.